take a drone tour of our beef cattle operation. We're on a property here. It's about 300 acres in just north of Smith's Grove, and we're gearing up for our bull sale right now. So you'll see a few pens of bulls, and we'll kind of give you an overview of quite a bit of wind damage about this time last year. So there's straight line wind came through and ripped that portion of barn off, and the trucks you're seeing just to the front of the barn, they'd be totaled today if they were there that day. So it's been a lot of cleanup since then, on top of trying to take care of all the animals. So that's kind of the center location we work off of with our working facilities in there in our office.
Okay, go ahead and tell those bulls there.
Yeah, so what you're seeing right there towards the middle of your screen is a set of, it looks like the yearling sale bulls we have in our fall sale. As we move in our fall bulls, we're weaning calves at the same time and kind of moving cow-calf pairs off. So a lot of what you're going to see today are bulls that'll be ready to go out and work in commercial cow herds this winter. Little background on what we do. We'll breed about 400 cows a year. So we'll sell about 100 bulls a year between our fall sale, our spring sale, and our private treaty sale. We run a pretty small fall herd. I think this year I'm calving about 40. I've been keeping replacement heifers the last couple years, and we're going to move that number a little closer to 60 in the coming years. So I think there's about a dozen fall bulls there that are yearlings that'll go out and work. As Jacob moves across the road here, gets into the set of older bulls we have. So in the spring, I think I calved about 225, 250 this year. We sold a few pairs, so I'm not quite sure how many I've got. But the bulls that are older, they're going to be 20 months old come sale day. We hold them specifically for our fall sale. So those will generally be the calves born day 60, 90, 120 of breeding season. And you see the guys just went out and fed those this morning. When we go and feed those bulls for our sale, what we really want to do is put on healthy gain. A breeding bull is an athlete. So we don't want them too fat, but we do want them strong and healthy with enough condition to hold out there. So we feed a combination of soy hull pellets and dried distiller's grain to those bulls we're developing to hold off for our fall sale. They're going to be weighing 1,500 pounds right now. The difference in those and the first bulls you sold, that I'd be a lot more comfortable putting them on 25 to 30 cows this winter, whereas those yearlings 20 to 25 is a little bit safer, depending on the size of the bull. The biggest reason we don't push them too hard on feed is so they hold up. So like I said, they're athletes out there. If you feed them too hard or with too much starch in the diet, you're going to blow the feed off of them. So you want to be very careful with that when you're doing a developing ration. The yearling bulls that you saw just before, we feed them to gain 3 pounds a day from the time they're weaned up until we collect yearling weight. So if they're weighing 600 pounds the day we wean them, they're going to be weighing about 1,200 pounds come sale day, and so that's kind of our target weight. As Jacob goes back to the farm, if you kind of look to the right of the screen, hold on, he's even got me turned around here. So what you're seeing there is kind of the hollow and back to what we call the Wells place. So you'll see a big field that's mowed. We're going through kind of clipping the weeds high off the top of the pasture for some stockpiled fescue there just on the close side of the bean field. So what we do, a lot of our cows right now, they're honestly not in a great spot to look. As soon as we wean the calves off, we kind of put them in a semi-confinement dry lot type situation. He's kind of circling around the whole area there. You're seeing a little more towards Smith's Grove. You'll see our farm's kind of in the middle of a cropland area, the location we're at. My dad bought it when he was 23. He's 64 now, so he's had it about 40 years. There next to where my grandparents live. So we own a few other properties down the road you might see in the far distance. A little bit better cattle ground. Our stocking rate is a little lighter up there, but the cattle do really well over towards Rocky Hill. So that's what you're seeing there when you look over that bean field and that crop field. I think you're seeing a field in a conservation program.
Those yours right there.
Yeah, and then you get on the other side of those strips you're seeing mowed, I think, and that's going to be where we actually run our fall herd. So I don't know if we're going to get quite that far over, but a little background on what we do with our fall herd. Like I said, we calve about 40. the way I manage them, I do about 2 groups of 20. Everything's bred naturally. I'm on day, what's today, October 25th, 24th. So I'm on about day 40, 45 of calving. Of the 40 animals I'm calving, I think I've only got about 5 left to calve. So they hit the ground pretty quick. So right now we're starting to increase the protein and energy on those cows just a little bit. There's a little bit of grass out there still for those cows that are the younger cows. The older cows have a little bit more. Hey, actually those are neighbors' cows right there. I think we're moving. I'm just a little bit over. No, I think you still got to go just a little bit.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
Yeah, that might be out of our range to get over there. So we work off about 3 locations or 4 locations if you include a couple leases, and we manage about 1,000 acres total. It's a little bit different environment for every single group we run. So we kind of look at each group on an individual basis when it comes to the pasture rotations and pasture management. Yeah, you can see there's the prep field, and I'm right there. You're seeing me just right there, the other side.
We'll try.
So Jacob's gonna try to get you over to my house. I bought this farm about 4 years ago, just down the road from my dad. I think my house is about a mile from the gate. So you'll see my house is up there right by the main road, across from the woods. I've got a drive coming in from one road for the farm entrance and a drive coming from my house. I think you can see some cows grazing right there at the bottom center of your screen. Those cows are a set of some older cows we have, some 10 to 14-year-old cows that are fall calving. So that farm we got when we got it 4 or 5 years ago, it had been left for about 10 years. I always joke it's weaned off more pounds of turkey and deer than has cattle in the last decade. So it was quite a cleanup project, but we went in and subdivided and did fencing, did fertilizer, worked with NRCS on that. But the first thing we did was built a good road in. So you'll see with that road, we're able to get a tractor trailer in anytime we want. We like to bring in hay and tractor trailer loads and stockpile it there to feed for fall calving.
Probably gonna wrap it up in about a minute or so.
So if we go kind of to more towards the railroad, which you saw earlier, that's going to be the main fall calving herd right there. You're seeing a field of ryegrass, oats, and brassica put in to creep graze the fall calves. And it looks like you got those pairs there spread out, kind of just picking at some stuff. We like to save our stockpile grass for our spring calvers. Gives those cows a bed to calve on. We're going to have to feed harvested feed to the fall cows anyway. So we don't really want to utilize that high quality forage for cows that aren't doing anything yet.
All right, I'm going to head back down.
So he's circling you back over. You can kind of see the big area where the main farm is. Going over a conservation field, then a couple crop fields, and then back to where Mom and Dad's place is.
Okay, maybe just finish it up.
Yep, so glad you all checked it out. Got a nice aerial view that I don't usually get. If you're ever in the area and want to on-foot tour or ground tour, we'd be glad to show you.